Welcome to the Quarter Life Lessons podcast,
a show on the relatable lessons learned on the journey to and through adulthood. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm CharLea. Let's get started. Well, Happy New Year to you, Stephanie.
Happy New Year, CharLea.
And Happy New Year to anybody listening and all of the Thrivers. We so very much appreciate having you along for the ride this year.
Yeah, what a ride it's been, 2024.
Yes, absolutely. And I know the title probably gave it away, but this episode will really just kind of focus on what our visions are for 2025 and what 2024 has taught us. And there were many lessons to learn, and we're just going to give a couple of highlights of the year. So, Stephanie, what do you do to prep for the new year?
So to prep for the new year, as somebody who's an Enneagram 3, highly motivated by achievements, normally I would make a list of all these things I needed to accomplish with my winter break, especially when I was in college and grad school. And I would just have these lists of things that I needed to do, to accomplish, to make sure I spent the time well. And I always got a lot of joy out of completing a list. But 2024 really has changed me in so many ways. And so some of the other things that I do is look back at photos in my Google photo album or any of those photo reviews you get. You can look at your music replay on Apple or your Spotify wrapped up summary. It's really cool that we have apps that kind of get to know our behaviors and our habits and kind of give us a year in review. I always find those really refreshing. Um, and then this year specifically, I've been super intentional about journaling and planning for my state of being next year. So, intentions that I have instead of goals around things related to how I want to feel, what I want to experience, what I want to have learned. So, a little bit different for me this year. What about you?
Yeah. What about me? Hold on. I definitely do regular traditional things. I also am a list maker. Again, being in grad school, the breaks are so small, and they are so short, and they go by quickly, and they can sneak up on you the next semester and everything. But specifically for New Year's, there are some like Black and African American traditions that we stick to. So doing all the cleaning before the New Year starts. And I've also found a lot of joy in like purging, especially in like times of transition. So going through my clothes and just getting rid of things that are causing clutter. And when there's clutter, like usually my mental is not as clear. So just doing things that bring me clarity. And also, prepping our New Year's dinner. For those of you who don't know, there's a lot of symbolism that comes with New Year's in Black households. So we have like the specific meal of black eyed peas and greens and cornbread and some sort of pork for symbolizing money and luck and abundance of health and wealth. So I'll definitely be working on getting that together. And, it's just a really good time to have an honest reflection of, if things are going well, celebrating those things, but, just looking into how things could be different or, what other things you're looking forward to going well in the future. I did end up having a little vision board get together, which I do have some footage from, so you guys will see that later on Instagram and YouTube Shorts. And yeah, I had a great time making my vision board this year, and I think again, it alleviated a lot of pressure to making it look a certain way because and again, working on that perfectionism mindset. So it was nice to make a vision board that I wasn't so rigid about.
That's awesome. I'm about 5 years running with a group of lady friends of mine, and our little tribe gets together and makes little collage posters as vision boards. And some of the ladies do things that motivate them, that create joy for them, and not so much goal oriented, but it's just more about manifesting positive energy and positive feelings, things that they love. And then some folks like me are always turning it into a priority list of I'm going to do this, this, this. At one point, there was headphones on my vision board because I knew we were going to have a podcast. I haven't done it yet, but in 2025, I had a great idea of a way I was going to switch it up. And instead of making the poster, because I do have all five posters on my wall in my bedroom, which are fun to look back at, this next year, we're going to take the images and we're going to collage them on a glass vase and put a candle inside. And so, as you burn the candle, however often, you're going to be thinking about the concepts on the outside of the glass jar, and just change it up. Add some energy in there with some flame, switch it up a little bit. So, we have that planned for January to turn our vision boards into almost like little, I don't know, manifestation candles.
Yeah, that's awesome. That what a cool way to, represent what you want to put your energy into. And
Yeah.
I mean, like adding the flame and everything, that's so symbolic and awesome. Now I do have a question for you. Again, you 5 years running in this group. I think you would be a good person to ask. Like, what does having that keepsake of a vision board do for you throughout the year?
Sure. When we first started it, it was because I really wanted to kind of harness some energy around what's next for me. I don't know if that was a sense of control or a sense of imagination or creativity. I read a quote recently that said, all of life is art. Your fashion, your life choices, where you live, what you do with your job, it's all art and creativity. And I love that. So the vision boards for me is literal pen to paper, scissors and glue. What am I crafting this next year in my life? So the actual act for me of making the vision board with supplies is really intentional. And then looking at it, every day, it's near my bed above my dresser, looking at it regularly to say, check in, a bit of an inventory if you're making them the way I do, which is about priorities. I think other folks would say, as they look at their vision board, if it's more about positive energy and their favorite things, maybe it just reminds them to be joyful and appreciate how those items or feelings are showing up in their life. But to have all five, and I've done this the last couple of years, you can see so much growth from vision board to vision board to have all five. So I would say keep those. I'm going to keep the vases too if we stick with this vase project, but I can see years where I really wanted to think about my fertility and what was next in my marriage. I can see years where I was saving up for a car. I can see years where I was going to finish grad school or really get out there on the trails and take my weight seriously. So, yes, some of those things didn't come to fruition, but I remember what I felt when I made the board. And for me, there's a lot of positivity in that. It doesn't look like in the places where maybe we didn't reach the goal or complete the vision. I haven't had a lot of negativity around that. I've more thought about the power of the intention and the power of the possibility.
Wow. Okay. The power of the intention and the possibility. And I mean, making sure that it's somewhere where you'll see it every
Yeah.
day. It's really easy to get lost in all of these different goals and aspirations that, oftentimes society tells us is what we're supposed to. But when you have those intentional reminders consistently, I think that makes a huge difference in, not only if the growth is happening, but being able to see the growth or being able to see, what maybe do I want to work on to make that growth happen or to get closer to that goal. And I like that you said the intention is important because the reasons why you want these things is also a way to get to know ourselves closer and in a greater capacity.
Yeah, Charlie, I think, I don't know that I would have thought of it that way before you just said it, but the practice of making a vision board is an interlook. And it is about getting to know yourself and giving yourself a canvas to decide what's next, which again, I know I talked about the control of that, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying what you want and asking, why do I want this thing? What does it mean to me? And what a great practice that is, instead of letting other people's ideas of our dreams or society's parameters guide what we want. And I know it's easy to get lost in that stuff and doing what's next as an expectation, or what someone you're looking at, a role model of yours is doing, so you want that too. Or you've been married a few years, so now it's time to have a family, or you want to chase that next career thing. But I think that the step you just mentioned about asking yourself why you want it and what accomplishing it will mean to you, don't forget that step in your vision boarding and in your intentions, because I think that's like the true carrot, right? That's the nugget. Buying a car for us a few years ago was something we saved up and worked towards doing, and we were able to accomplish it. But when you think about its meaning and what it took for us to do that, that was the lesson. That was what we earned, not so much the car in the driveway.
Yes, just placing the importance back on the journey of getting to is that you want to get to. Because of course if you're not experiencing it, you're missing it. As always, the conversation does not end here.
We want to know your thoughts on these topics. Join us on Instagram at Quarter Life Lessons Pod to share your perspectives and continue the conversation to thrive.
Thank you for tuning in to the Quarter Life Lessons podcast. Find new episodes on Spotify, YouTube, and our Buzzsprout website.